guys. We are doing the first episode of the JCP Podcast, and we're really excited about it. This podcast is going to be sort of about like new perspectives, like new conversations happening. So we're super excited to get into it. So yeah, we're just going to start, I suppose.
Yeah, let's go.
It's good.
Okay, so I think we should probably start like introducing ourselves and like talking about maybe why we wanted to get into the industry and things like that. So I'll go first. So my name's Aisha. I'm 18 and I went to Bitton Park sixth form. It's like a whole biography.
It's like shout out. Bitton Park sixth form.
But no, it all links obviously. And I studied film studies and geography and production arts. And I always saw people doing like media studies, and that made me realise I want to get into media. I thought I wanted to get into radio, to be honest.
Radio?
Yeah.
I thought that as well. Yeah. Maybe that's why I started doing the podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Michelin Stone's Radio 1.
No more capital extra.
We should do that. We should start a live radio.
No.
I'm going to disagree with that one.
Yeah, that's not.
Not a bit of me.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, so I thought I wanted to get into radio, then changed my mind, and then after sixth form I kind of saw more about like social media, digital marketing, email marketing. I got some work experience in the summer, and then I went on to do a remote internship for like 2 months or so. That was really good. It was with this startup called Grazer, but then I realised I wanted something sort of in office, like in-house, because I feel like you collab more. Like here we're always talking with each other, and I feel like the idea generation is so much better. And then you can really work on all of those processes and refining everything. But if, like, yeah, you can do the Google Meets and all of that all day, every day, but it's still not the same. You can't physically go and be like, that could, do you know what I mean? Like, so, you can be so specific, but you can't there. So then I was looking for internships or work experiences, like even places that weren't digital marketing agencies and things like that. I was just saying, like, do you have any work experience like in social media? Like I could be doing some digital marketing for you, and I just wasn't getting anywhere. So I was really down about it for a bit. Like really like zapped my personality.
Understandably,
out of me.
it can be quite draining looking for loads of different jobs and opportunities. So you just go and apply for like 50 different roles and no one gets back to you, not even with like a sorry, we're not accepting you.
That's the worst, when they just blank you. But then in January I found Michelin Stone.
Shut up.
It started in February and here I am.
There you are.
But yeah, what about you guys?
Well, I went to college back in 2020 now.
Whoa.
I know.
What, you finished in 2020?
Yeah, the beginning of 2020, because I meant to finish the course in like April, and then lockdown in March, cut it short. That was not great. And then basically, it was not really a nice transition from going to college to getting a job. So, at college I did graphic design and like a creative media course. So, that's very much combining actually what I do now. But yeah, I was really hoping I could get a job quite quickly. Didn't happen. So instead of just like sitting around doing nothing, I decided to try and be a freelancer, post my stuff onto Instagram, and basically just anything in my spare time that I did, any designs, I'd just put them out there for people and try and get some traction to get some freelance jobs going. And then that gave me some really good experience doing, working with clients, working to deadlines and briefs. And then, in the background I was applying for jobs because, I can't really do it forever. As much as I'm skilled in that field, I need more experience actually in the industry first. So, applied for the job here in December, and here I am, starting January.
There you
Loving
go.
it.
And that is the story.
Yeah.
Flipping heck.
Story
Okay.
about mooring.
Okay, so, God, how did I get here? So I grew up in Somerset, the land of cider and farms and tractors, all of that.
Tractor.
Yeah. Went to college. I did a level 3 extended diploma in business studies, which went well. I was learning kind of all the different elements within a business, not just marketing, although that was kind of like the main subject that I enjoyed the most. It was kind of like, it kind of helped me identify that I kind of wanted to be in this industry because I was proficient at it, I suppose. But yeah, just learning all the different things that go on behind the scenes in a business. So I did that. After college and during my college period, I was working at M&S, working with customers, improving my customer service skills. And then in August, was it August? Yeah, August of last year, I decided that I wanted to move here to be closer to some family. So I did that with no major plans. To be honest, I didn't really have a job in mind. Originally I was just thinking about getting another transfer to another Marks and Spencer's, and that was going to be my life, working in retail. And then through a mutual family member, I got introduced into Chris and Josh. I got an interview for the junior content producer role, which they weren't actually hiring for it at the time. They kind of just said, my family member put in a good word for me, and they were willing to give me a chance. So they sat down and gave me the interview, and obviously I did well in the interview because I'm sat here. So yeah, it's all exciting.
No, love that.
Yeah.
It was so good with connections and stuff. Like, you don't realise how important they are sometimes.
It's very much who you know.
It's
not what you know. No, I
sure.
like that. Yeah, with my other job, it's the same thing. Like, it's the exact same thing.
So kind of just going on from kind of how we got here, I think it'd be good to shed a bit of light on, like, what do we do now? Like, what's our progression routes? What do we do every day? What are we learning about within our apprenticeship, outside of our apprenticeship? Aisha?
So much. I feel like no, but it's true, isn't it? Because I think as well, because like we have our niches, but our job role is like content producer, and there's so much that goes into that. So day to day, more of the stuff that I do is I've got a few clients that I work on. I make the content ideas. I put the briefs on the board. I do the copywriting, all of that sort of stuff using Jamie's engagement strategy. If you don't know, get to know. So that's like that part of it, but also you have to get approval from them. But aside from that sort of thing, like I'm working on emails a lot because I'm quite interested in it, and I want to get better with copywriting skills and stuff like that. Outside of work, did you say as well?
Yeah, I mean, outside of work, what are your like overall development points? Like what are you learning currently, like being in this job role? Because I feel like it's not just like in the job I'm learning this, but it's also like personal development. So like learning like new methods of communication. Like, are you maturing? Are you learning things that apply outside of work?
Oh, 100%. I'd say this is like I'd say it's pretty mature, but I feel like when you're doing a job like this with like big responsibilities, like actual proper deadlines, like if you weren't to meet the deadline, there's actual consequences and things like that.
It's throwing you at the deep end, but it's good experience.
No, but it's so good for you because I think like going into uni a little bit and like school and stuff, like you learn it, but because you're not doing the doing, you're not actually getting that experience. And then I'm not saying you're not maturing, but in a professional standpoint, you're in the same place as you were at like sixth form or something, unless you have a different job aside from that. But I'd say that is like something that I'm really taking with me. I feel like I'm maturing a lot because of it, because it's the routine of it, and it's like different stress points and so you just learn so much because so much is going on. And like development outside of work, but to do with the industry. I love a webinar. I do love a webinar. Trying to get some online courses and things like that. But just always trying to do that. And aside from that, like keeping up with like certain blogs and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll do an episode hopefully soon where we could like delve into like our favourite resources and stuff like that. But I'd say that's basically me from that sort of standpoint. What about you?
Show off our wisdom.
Yeah.
So all our job roles are pretty different, aren't they? Although we are under the same apprenticeship name, they're all different. So you said you're the content creation, and I'm more the graphic design side, because that's kind of what I've come up doing. And so I do lots of the social posts for the clients. In all the Adobe softwares, my absolute heroes. And I also do a bit on the account managing side as well. So I've got a couple of clients of my own that I work on, and it's a nice balance. To be fair, I do really enjoy that. Obviously, in the future, I'll have to probably refine that and get a more defined job role. But I'm enjoying getting both sides of the coin at the moment and getting a good experience of kind of seeing the whole process, really, of getting from an idea from yourself or the client to then the final process of getting the actual design out on social media. I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah.
What about you, Jamie?
What about me? So, what do I not do? Is what it feels like sometimes. No.
Sorry.
No. You run this company.
Yeah, I own Mitchell's. No. I've touched pretty much. I've had my finger in all the pies at one point. I love that analogy. I use it a lot. But no, I started off doing graphic design because I was trying to work out what I was interested in. Because to be honest, like hadn't really dived too deep into the marketing industry before. Obviously did social media management and stuff like that prior to my role here, but I didn't really know whether I wanted to go creative or whether I wanted to do more account manager based things. So I tried that out. It wasn't really my forte. My brain doesn't really work in that way. Sorry, creatives. And then moved on to that's why we've got Pinny. But yeah, then I kind of moved on to more of like account manager responsibilities. So worked my way up. I'm now managing I think 5 or 6 different clients. Doing a lot of like content creation and emails and a lot of different things. I'm also diving very deep into the world of SEO. It's my
SEO king.
Yeah, it's my holy grail at the minute. I love learning about it. It's I'm very nerdy, self-professed nerd.
I literally can't think of SEO without thinking, oh, that's Jamie.
No, whenever I see something on LinkedIn or Twitter, I'm like, should I send it to him?
Yeah, and you do most of the time. And most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. Nice one. Ha ha.
I bet it's something so basic.
Because I find it relatable and it's just like no one else does. And it's brilliant because I love...
It's like your own little community.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I love having a niche. I think it's cool to... I think the good thing about this company is that it's not like... You can't know everything. You know what I mean? Like... I couldn't know everything about like SEO, about PPC, about graphic design. It's good that we all have our own specialties because then when we work together as an outsourced marketing department, everything works so well.
Yeah, everything just clicks.
It all clicks.
Yeah.
It's great as well because even we're the apprentices, but we're teaching the other people who are in a higher up job role stuff every day, and we all have different bits of knowledge to bring together that really helps, doesn't it?
I think there's like a stigma around like junior roles and how they get like stuck in this cycle of just like doing the doing all the time and kind of not having an influence on the company.
Yeah, no, doing the doing, I definitely agree with that. And I feel like sort of like everyone, when you say you're an apprentice, a lot of people think like, they don't think very sort of high of your role almost, but apprentices here, well, I don't want to speak for other companies, but I feel like we're very different from the norm of an apprentice, even like in our industry. Because we have so much influence like on everyone else, like, and you can collab with someone like much higher up than you, and it's not, you know what I mean, like a lot of places there would be like a lot of, I don't know, maybe it's not taboo.
There's a lot of like fearless feedback within the company is the term that we use. It's fearless feedback, and it's not being afraid to bring up action points to any team member because there's not really a hierarchy, you know what I mean, like Josh and Chris, like they're the directors of the company, but I could go to Josh and be like, Josh, this is where I think you can improve.
Yeah.
And then he could come back and say the same
That's
thing
so
to me.
helpful as well, isn't
it?
Yeah, it's so important because you can't mold your company, you can't grow your company without providing that feedback.
Yeah.
Because then we stagnate. And we don't
I
want
want to be like that.
You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
agree.
So it's
Even
so important.
on my first like one-to-one, Josh said like, do you have any feedback for me? And I gave him feedback and I felt totally okay about it. But I feel like if we were in a company where there was an obvious hierarchy, I would not be able to do that. I would have been like, yeah, everything's fine. You know what I mean?
There's so many companies that just like, if the people at the top are kind of like, well, I've got experience, why are you telling me what's right? And but that's just not a healthy way to work.
You need
is it?
that young mind, I think.
Yeah. Different pair of eyes.
Yeah.
That's with everything. Like you look, even like from a design perspective, the different pair of eyes is so useful. Just because, like I may be, the of us the expert of graphic design of the three, but someone else can come in and go, well, why have you done that? And I'll be like, why have I done that? And actually, that's a good change to make. And it's always good having just a lot of input.
Yeah.
There's always different ways of doing things, isn't there?
Yeah. You can never have too much. Yeah.
So, why did you two not go to uni?
Why did I not go to uni? Okay, I'll start this off. Not that I'm super passionate about it.
You're quite passionate about it.
But, like, it's just... I feel like... Oh, it's maybe a bit controversial, but do you know what? I don't care. If you're in marketing, if you want to get into marketing, I don't understand what the point of going to uni is, like, at all. Like, digital marketing, maybe, like, other forms of marketing I can understand. But digital marketing, everything moves too quickly for uni.
Yeah.
Like...
A lot of people do say at uni, they're like, oh, it's miles behind what that's actually
they're like,
going
Facebook is the number one social media platform for leads and for growth. And
it's not.
Don't be yourself on LinkedIn. It's corporate only.
It's probably nothing like TikTok in the entire syllabus.
That won't go into the books for like another 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just need to be in an industry like this where it's happening here and now.
But aside from that, obviously, because a lot of people go to uni for like the social aspect of it or just like life experience, which I kind of understand.
I feel like you missed out.
No.
No. Did I miss out on getting drunk, spending loads of money, and being 40 grand in debt? No.
Yeah, the debt thing's like...
Yeah, the debt.
But I feel like the argument with that is that, like, people say, oh, you don't always have to pay it back, or, like, you only pay minimal amounts. I don't want that hanging over my head.
Yeah, it's still something you think about.
Yeah.
And sure, they say, oh, it's like a tax, but why would I want to pay extra? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really see the point. If the only reason you're going to uni is for the social aspect of it, then... I just don't see the point.
You could have the same thing, just not
that's
at
what I
uni, but
think.
because everyone's at uni, that's what it becomes.
Just go for a couple months vacation in, like, bloody, I don't know, Ibiza. You know what I mean? Like, there's basically the same thing, just going out and just clubbing and staying up late and flunking all your work.
Well, the thing is, it only lasts for, like, freshers and a bit after that, and, like, yeah, sure, they can go out on a weeknight, but I get loads
of mates messaging me being like, "Oh, you coming out tonight?" I'm like, "It's a Monday."
yeah, I've got work. I don't know about you guys, but it's
I always say it's a school night.
I think degrees are important for certain career paths.
Oh, 100%.
Like people like doctors, people like lawyers, stuff like that. Completely get it.
Yeah,
understand.
100%.
But we are living proof that you can get into this industry without a degree, because we're sat here and we're all progressing, and there is defined paths for us, and we did that with little to no experience,
we're doing
without paying that amount of money.
We're doing our learning that they're doing in uni. We're doing it in the job, getting paid for it.
Yeah, we're getting paid for it. Yeah, precisely.
and you know, there's not the debt either. It's it's definitely the best way for me.
Yeah, I think it's the best way for a lot of people, but I think the reason why so many people go to uni is because it's like kind of like pushed onto you in sixth form, and they try to tell you, no, you can do whatever you want, but
Are you gonna?
I'm not throwing shade. Oh my god. Well, yeah, I'd say my sixth form sort of like definitely there was a clear divide of like whether you're going to uni or not going to uni, that sort of thing. And then no, they don't really say like, oh, it's fine if you're not going to uni. And I'm not trying to throw shade, but I feel like
feedback, isn't it? This is what we're on about. Just be honest.
They don't really. There wasn't tons of support for things like apprenticeships. It was just like, oh, these are probably the best times to apply and like stuff like that. And there wasn't much else aside from that. I mean, for apprenticeships in like digital marketing and like media and stuff, I can't speak for every single industry. But yeah, I didn't feel very supported. I felt like I kind of had to go at it like a lone ranger.
I think playing devil's advocate, from their perspective, it's hard to, because obviously they have all the contacts with the unis. And they can go, right, so you want to go and do this? We got all these unis we can give the options and stuff for. Whereas if you say, I don't want to go to uni, I want to get a job. I mean, that means that they have to basically find people outsourced that basically offer them for a job, and there could be no jobs. So it's such an unknown that's why it probably like they'd rather you go to uni, because that's so much more stable. And that's how it turned out to be for me, because they probably would have supported me to get a job had I gone throughout the past last 2 months of my college, but because that didn't happen, there wasn't really that transition, and it was kind of like, well, everyone who'd already got their placements in uni, they were completely fine, but I wasn't.
You do kind of gamble a little bit, I suppose, when you leave college and you either like go straight into looking for a job or whatever, because you're not guaranteed to get a job, you're not guaranteed to get an apprenticeship, and unfortunately people don't have the luck that we may have had. So obviously we do have to identify that, because without said family member that referred me on to Chris and Josh, I would be selling underwear to old women right now. You know what I mean? Like,
got a Sparks card.
literally. And so people have different circumstances. But if there's any advice I could give to someone that's in that position that I just talked about, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Start a LinkedIn profile, build your personal brand. There's so many people that I've started talking to and connected with on LinkedIn that don't even work. They're freelance, but they have such a strong personal brand that companies are reaching out to them and trying to pick them up. And that is what companies of today are looking for, is someone who is outspoken, someone with strong opinions, someone that knows what they're doing on social media.
Yeah, marketing yourself is so important. I think we could probably do a full episode on how to market yourself well. So maybe we'll save that for another time. But yeah, if you're out there and showing that you can already do, especially in this industry, you can already post content on social media and create content, then you're already going to be above people that are kind of going, well, I've got my portfolio here.
Here's my Snapchat.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's such a shame that I didn't start delving into personal branding sooner. Like I've only really started doing that in the past.
But
like,
even
since
now,
working here.
like you're 18.
Yeah,
There's people that
that's true.
they don't even start doing personal branding until they're like in their mid-20s, mid-30s.
But what I'm saying is,
When did you start
can
personal
never
branding?
start.
I started my LinkedIn when I was like first year of college, so I must have been 16. But I didn't actually post on it until I started working here, because it was like that sudden realization that this is the world that we live in now.
Yeah.
And people look for value in other people's content. Like without my LinkedIn going on now, like I probably would have missed out on quite a few opportunities. I wouldn't have met. Like I've met so many like people around Hampshire. Like when I moved here, I didn't know anyone in this space at all. But now, like I have people that I speak to, I get guidance from, and it's just great. It's such a cool platform to be a part of, especially at this age, because not many people get the opportunity to network.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I feel like you can never start your personal branding too early, though. That's what I was trying to say before. Like,
no,
I know I'm
of course
only 18, but if there's one thing I can do is, like you said, like just...
Obviously, within terms and conditions of LinkedIn, don't start posting it like a 13-year-old. Just they're like, "Hi guys, first post hashtag personal brand."
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, yeah.
So I guess following on from that, you may have seen our posts on LinkedIn, because we've got that strong personal brand going on about the podcast and some of the plans that we have. I kind of just wanted to go through and just get us all to talk a bit about like what the purpose of the podcast is, because you might be sat there watching it at home or at the gym or wherever the hell you're watching it. I don't know, on top of a pyramid. I don't know.
That was a rogue.
I don't know what people do.
That was a rogue shout.
Doing a bit of yoga. I don't know, man. But I want to give context, and I want to just talk about why we're doing it, because I think what we're doing is so important. I do think there's kind of going back to what I said earlier. There's such like a thing around junior roles and how we just make teas and coffees and whatever, and it's true though, isn't it? Like we there's that whole stereotype, and I think that it's important that we knock that down, and we can make change. We can be, outspoken and kind of mold businesses and help our colleagues and whatever. So that's why it's important to me.
There's so many companies that wouldn't even dream of letting their, we've been here, a couple months, and we wouldn't dream of letting us speak out about our job role, would they?
Yeah.
And it's great that we have that freedom to do so, and it's also so valuable for other people, because especially we're hiring people, and they might be looking at this podcast and going, "Oh, actually, it's a great place to work. I might want to come work there too."
Join us.
Join the team. Be the fourth JCP sat here.
Yeah.
Or there.
Yeah.
Or there.
Or maybe we'll have a whole table.
Maybe we will.
It'll be a massive round table podcast.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I think like you're saying, I think it's because the company's growing, so we can grow alongside it.
Yeah.
But if I feel like certain, if a company gets to a certain point, it's hard for other people to have a voice. But I think we're growing together.
We're in at the right time.
Yeah, we're in at the right time.
We've built the base now, haven't
but
we?
I also feel like we've set the expectation that like our apprentices or like our junior role people, our people in junior roles, will always have a voice.
Yeah.
Like that's.
And I feel like Chris and Josh will always recognise that too, because when we brought up the idea, we sat down in the room over there and said, we want to do this podcast. Like you saw how happy Chris was and how happy Josh was, because they recognise how important it is to have content like this.
Yeah.
Which is great, because no matter how big the company gets, they're still going to see the value in it, because they are aware and open and they know what's going on in this industry and what's current. Which is great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
So, in the future, if any JCPs or apprentices in the industry want to come on, we might have some lined up coming soon.
Yes, get in contact with us on LinkedIn. You might put those links somewhere in the... Should we put them in the YouTube description, perhaps?
I think we should.
Let's do that. Okay, so they'll be down there. Go and click. And,
YouTuber.
be sure to subscribe.
But also, it doesn't just have to be JCPs.
No. Serious, no.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
If you think...
It doesn't have to be JCPs. It doesn't have to be specifically junior roles.
Yeah.
If you think you have a fresh perspective, or you have an opinion that you think might deliver value,
or if we could just have like a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
then hit us up.
Get in touch. But until then, follow us on the socials.
Yes.
Mitchell & Stone socials.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, we will.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Sweet.
Bye.
Peace.